What if I told you that everything you think you know about ancient people is a lie? We're taught they were primitive, but what if they had technology we literally can't even recreate today? For years, we've believed that science has all the answers about the past, but some mysteries, some ancient, absolutely insane enigmas, don't just challenge history, they completely shatter it. These are the puzzles our ancestors left behind, and even our smartest scientists today are totally stumped. Let's go. From the deserts of Peru to the bottom of the ocean, the world is covered in stuff from old civilizations. We study their buildings, their art, their languages, trying to figure out how we all got here. But what happens when the clues make no sense? What do we do with artifacts that seem impossibly advanced? Books written in languages that shouldn't exist? And giant structures that are just impossible for the people who supposedly built them. This isn't just weird old stuff, this is a massive challenge to the official timeline of human history. This is the stuff that keeps archaeologists up at night, the things science still can't explain. Today, we're diving straight into these mysteries. We're going to look at the lost tech, the secret messages, and the insane creations our ancestors left behind. Puzzles that have stumped the smartest people for thousands of years. Get ready to question everything. High up in the deserts of Peru, there's a giant art gallery you can only see from an airplane. These are the Nazca Lines, over 700 massive drawings carved into the desert floor thousands of years ago. And these aren't just doodles, they're perfect pictures of animals, plants, and weird humanoid figures. We're talking a spider, a hummingbird, a monkey, and some are almost 1,200 feet long. That's bigger than 3 football fields. People knew they were there, but nobody knew what they were until we invented airplanes. We pretty much know how they made them. The Nazca people just scraped away the top layer of dark rock to show the lighter dirt underneath. And because it never rains or gets windy there, they've been perfectly preserved for 2,000 years. But how they designed them so perfectly is nothing compared to the biggest question. Why did they do it? How did a civilization without planes design massive figures that you can only see from hundreds of feet in the air? This one question has led to some crazy theories. One researcher, Maria Reiche, spent her entire life arguing they were a giant space calendar. And while some lines do point to stars, that doesn't explain the giant monkey. Other people think it was for rituals. One insane theory says the lines weren't meant to be seen from the sky, but were meant to be walked on, like a giant maze for religious ceremonies. And they've found pottery along the paths, which supports this. Another popular idea is that it was all about water. The animal drawings are all linked to rain and water, so maybe they were literally begging their gods to make it rain. Even with drones and AI finding hundreds of new figures, we still have no idea what the true purpose of the Nazca Lines was. It's a giant silent message from the past, and we have no clue what it says. In a vault at Yale University, there's a small old book that has defeated every single person who has ever tried to read it. It's called the Voynich Manuscript, and it's 600 years old. Its pages are filled with a strange handwritten script and drawings. But there's a massive problem. Nobody knows the language, and the plants and charts it shows don't exist anywhere on Earth. The book is split into sections, and each one is weirder than the last. You've got drawings of plants that botanists have never seen, star charts of constellations that aren't in our sky, and pictures of little naked people bathing in weird green goo. For 600 years, this book has stumped everyone. The code breakers who cracked Nazi codes in World War II, they tried to crack this book and failed. Modern experts with supercomputers, they've also failed. So, what is this thing? Theories are all over the place. Some people think it's a lost encyclopedia from a forgotten civilization. Others think it's the most elaborate prank in history. Just a bunch of gibberish made to trick someone. But the writing has patterns, which suggests it's a real language. Recently, scientists used AI to look at it, and the AI suggested it might be a weird form of ancient Hebrew, but written in a crazy code. Still, no one's been able to translate a single word. We don't even know where it came from. The first owner we know of was a 17th century alchemist who was just as confused as we are. The Voynich Manuscript is the perfect puzzle. It looks like it should make sense, but it just doesn't. Is it a forgotten language, an unbreakable code, or just brilliant nonsense? For now, it's a book that's keeping its secrets locked up tight. In 1901, some divers off the coast of a Greek island found a shipwreck that would literally rewrite the history of technology. They found a corroded chunk of bronze, and at first, nobody cared. But when they cleaned it up, they found something unbelievable, a complex system of interlocking gears and dials. This was the Antikythera Mechanism. This device is from around 150 BCE, and it's now considered the world's first ever analog computer. Nothing this complex would be invented again for another 1,000 years. It was basically an ancient computer in a shoebox with over 30 gears that could do insane calculations. By turning a crank, you could predict the movement of the sun, the moon, and all 5 planets they knew about. It could even predict solar eclipses and tell you when the next Olympic Games were. The existence of this thing is just a massive puzzle. How did the ancient Greeks have the knowledge to build something this advanced? The gears were cut with a precision that shocks people even today. We've used modern tech to read the inscriptions on it, and it's basically a user manual. But here's the craziest part. The technology just vanished. We haven't found any other device like it. No ancient books describe how to build one. It's like someone invented a smartphone 2,000 years ago, and then everyone completely forgot how to do it. The Antikythera Mechanism forces us to ask what else the ancients were capable of. It's a ghost from a lost timeline, proof that there was a level of genius back then that was completely forgotten and had to be reinvented centuries later. It's baffling not because we don't know what it is, but because we have no clue how they made it, or why the tech was completely lost. These mysteries are insane and make you question everything about the past. If your mind is as blown as mine, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We have so many more crazy things to show you, and you are not going to want to miss it. Now, back to the mysteries. The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the most famous statues in the world. For 4,500 years, this massive limestone statue, part lion, part human, has been staring out into the desert. The official story is that it was built for the pharaoh Khafra around 2,500 BCE, and the face is his. But this simple story is at the center of a huge fight. The real puzzle isn't who built it, but when. In the 1990s, some geologists dropped a bombshell. They looked at the erosion on the Sphinx's body and the walls around it and said the deep cracks weren't caused by wind and sand, but by thousands of years of heavy rain. And here's the kicker. The last time it rained that much in Giza was thousands of years before the Sphinx was supposedly built, maybe as far back as 7,000 BCE. This water erosion hypothesis suggests the Sphinx could be thousands of years older than the pyramids. I have to tell you, this is a fringe theory that mainstream Egyptologists completely reject. They say other things could have caused the erosion, but the debate is still raging. We also don't really know its purpose. Was it just guarding the pyramids? Or did it line up with the stars in some way? Some people think the Sphinx and pyramids are a giant star map, a line to the sky from a much, much earlier time. Even the face is debated. Some people say it doesn't look like other statues of Khafra at all. The Great Sphinx isn't just a statue. It might be a massive clue that we've gotten a huge chapter of human history completely wrong. It just sits there silently, holding secrets of a time that might be way older than we can even imagine. Spread across the country of Laos are thousands of giant stone jars. Some are 10 feet tall and weigh more than 10 tons. This is the Plain of Jars, over 90 different sites, each with hundreds of these insane stone vessels. They date back to the Iron Age, and nobody knows who built them or why. Local legend is the coolest explanation. A race of giants made them to use as drinking cups after winning a huge battle. The real scientific explanation, though, is still being figured out. Who carved these massive jars, and how did they drag them from quarries that were miles away? And what were they used for? For decades, we couldn't even explore the area because it was covered in unexploded bombs from the Vietnam War. But recently, archaeologists have finally started digging, and what they've found just makes it even more mysterious. They've found human bones buried around the jars, which means these sites were part of some huge funeral ritual. The main theory now is that the jars were used for a multi-step burial. They think bodies were placed inside the jars to decompose, and then later, the bones were collected and buried. This would explain why the jars are empty now. But it's still just a theory. We officially have no idea. Who were the people that built this place? That's another puzzle. We've barely found any tools or artifacts with the bodies, so we know almost nothing about them. They also found these weird carved stone discs that just add to the mystery. The Plain of Jars is a graveyard left by a lost culture, and it's still holding on to its secrets. For centuries, this city was just a legend mentioned in old books. It was called Thonis by the Egyptians and Heracleion by the Greeks, and it was the main port for all of Egypt before Alexandria was built. It was a massive city of temples and trade, and then it just vanished, completely swallowed by the sea. For over 1,000 years, nobody knew where it was. But in the late 1990s, an underwater archaeologist named Frank Gaudio used crazy scanning tech and found it under the ocean. What they discovered was an entire city, perfectly frozen in time. The stuff they've pulled up is incredible. We're talking colossal 16-foot-tall statues of pharaohs, over 700 ancient anchors, and dozens of shipwrecks. They found gold coins, jewelry, and the ruins of the Great Temple where pharaohs went for ceremonies. They even found a temple to the Greek goddess Aphrodite that no one knew existed, proving it was a city where two cultures came together. The biggest mystery now is how a whole city just sinks. Geologists think it was a total catastrophe. The city was built on unstable clay. A bunch of earthquakes probably turned the solid ground into liquid, and that, combined with rising sea levels, made the entire city collapse into the ocean. You can see how violent the end was. Massive stone blocks from the temple are smashed all over the city's canals. Thonis-Heracleion is an insane reminder that even the biggest cities can be completely erased. Every new artifact they find adds a new piece to the puzzle, but the full story of its final moments is still a secret at the bottom of the sea. The Nazca Lines, the Voynich Manuscript, the Antikythera Mechanism, the Sphinx, the Plain of Jars, and the city of Thonis-Heracleion are way more than just weird things from history. They are proof that our past is way more complicated and insane than we thought. They challenge our timelines, our ideas about what ancient people could do, and the entire story of human progress. These mysteries show us that even with all our modern science, there are basic questions about our own history that we literally cannot answer. History isn't a finished story. It's a book with missing pages and secret chapters we haven't even found yet. The biggest mysteries aren't in space. They're buried right here on Earth. What other mysteries do you think science can't explain? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's craziest unsolved mysteries. Thanks for watching.